the most fun game to watch all season long for your Houston Rockets, overcoming a 19-point second-half deficit to win this one tonight, 113-108. Rockets picking up their 37th victory of the season, now 10-2 on the road against Eastern Conference teams. Our Texas mattress makers put them to bed moment. Well, this one was not hard to figure out, Murph. Reed Sheppard in the fourth quarter, when the Rockets needed it the most, under 2 minutes, hits the three-pointer. He wouldn't be done.
Well, I told you before the game started that the Rockets were going to win tonight. I didn't know how they were going to do it. I had no idea it was going to be Reed Sheppard that came off the bench to hit those big threes like he did. The confidence that he is showing his teammates and us right now. And he's not, now remember, that three-point line is 23 feet 9 inches. He's shooting it from 26.
Yeah, in the building is in his range right now. The way he's shooting. Walking into our SCHN network studios.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Well, there you go, alongside the Hall of Famer Calvin. And I'm going to take it a step further, because you didn't tell me before the game that they were going to win. You told me at halftime when they were down 10 that they were going to win.
But you know, for some reason, the Rockets had not started playing and they were hanging around. Mm-hmm. And I just had a feeling that they were just going to turn it up a notch when necessary. Of course, I knew Kevin was going to come to the ballpark and get things going, which he did, ended up with 40. But coming off the bench with the reserves being Reed Sheppard, and to come in and want to take over the game the way he did tells you that he is now a legitimate NBA player.
Yeah, well, you know, you say turn it up a notch. Well, they turned it down a notch up until about the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. They were down by 19 points with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. You know, Fun Can't Lose, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And Reed Sheppard wouldn't let them lose. He got hot in that third quarter, part of a 21-0 run. I said 21-0. Went from being down 19 to up 1 going into the fourth quarter, a 24-4 run.
But look at the spread on the floor. Everybody is so spread out that there was no way that you can get any support defensively. And then, of course, when you're able to put the ball on the floor the way he can, and they're trying to stop him from shooting the threes, he just takes it to the hole, finds him a seam, and takes it right to the basket.
From three-point range, he had 11 points in the third quarter. Kevin Durant had 12 points in the third quarter, and plenty more coming up on Kevin Durant, because it was a historic night for him as well. And let's hear from head coach Ime Udoka.
Now, he's got to have a smile on his face.
Unanswered during the third quarter. Just what did you like about the effort during that comeback?
The guys didn't hang their head and, stayed in the game. And, it was rough sledding for a little bit, and other guys came in and made an impact. Clint had 4 blocks in that stretch. Josh provided energy. Obviously, Reed got it going. But, when it's sluggish for some guys, it's great to have a spark, and I felt like 3 or 4 guys did that.
Speaking of spark, another great game for Reed Sheppard. Just what have you seen from him, not only tonight, but really since the All-Star break?
Yeah, confidence, aggressiveness, like I always say. I think, they were really concentrating on him early, trapping a lot, had the bigs up, switching a lot of his actions, and he stayed the course. And, missed some shots early, but the stops got out in transition, hundreds of shots, and guys found him. And so the fact that he didn't hang his head, like I mentioned, stayed the course and then, came through when it counted.
Any info on Jabari?
He just stepped on Alperen's foot and rolled his ankle. I think, it's just a game-to-game thing, day-to-day, but it doesn't look too terrible, but he's getting checked out now.
Coach, like the team had some dead legs to begin with, but it was like Kevin pushed through. To have a player like that on your team, you've watched the way that he's worked, the work that he puts in, but just to have a player to go to like that, to be able to keep your team in and to help bring it back like that, what does it mean for this team and their confidence?
Yeah, it gives you a chance on an off night. And to your point, second night of a back-to-back, I think it's probably our most gutsy win this year, just being down 19 and going on that run, like you guys mentioned. But, he got it going. He found a nice little rhythm, made shots to keep you in it, like you mentioned, until we picked up our energy on the defensive end, especially on the rebounds, and then took care of the ball a little bit better, gave you a chance, and then we went on that run. So very important to have guys that obviously can stem the tide a little bit and keep us in it.
Reed hasn't always closed games this year. He did did tonight. What did you see from his performance that led to you going with the next stretch?
He deserved it. I think him and Alperin, were in at the end there. They had a huge impact in part in bringing us back, and some other guys were having off nights, and so they deserved it. Made really good plays on both ends, and although they hit some late threes there, did a decent job defensively, and even when we started to switch him on to Bain, kept him in front and contested some shots really well.
Earlier in the game, looked like you weren't happy with some of the defensive rotation. Was that due to maybe dead legs because of the back-to-back?
I wouldn't say it was rotations as much as offensive rebounding, plain and simple. They were muscling us. It was, I think, 11-8 after the first time out, and they may have scored one or two if not for offensive rebounds, second chance points. And so, 30 to 7 in that category to be outscored, by 23 in second chance points. It's tough to overcome, but I think we did it because of what we did in the second half. 11 turnovers in the first half, only 4 in the second half. And then they had 11 offensive rebounds half, ended with 15. And so we cut those two and gave ourselves a chance.
Coach, it's a long season, but what would you say is the biggest area of growth you've seen so far from your team?
Yeah, just being resilient, I think. We continue to search for consistency, and you're not always going to have it from quarter to quarter, game to game, but guys continue to plug away. And I think, it's easy to hang your head on the second night. Like I said, getting in late last night, being down 19, but other guys brought the spark and brought the energy. And so I've said that for years now, that we don't really quit. We're going to continue to play, and rarely do you see us get blown out because of that. And so gave ourselves a chance there, got the sparks, like I said, and then the big dogs came back and finished it.
Just 12 minutes for Durant tonight. What was it?
It's just off, I think, on both ends in the first half. Combination of the missed assignments. I think that wasn't just him, it was our whole team in the first half. To be at 10 points, we felt great about ourselves for how poorly we played in the first half. And that was part of it. Defensive assignments. Rebounding was a thing too. I think it was everybody other than Suggs had offensive rebounds. So they were just gang rebounding as a unit. And then, he had some open looks and didn't convert those, and wanted to see if we get a spark from somebody else, and Josh did that.
Thanks,
Thank you.
21-0 run, 24-4 to close out the third. Rockets come from behind. They were down 19 and win it tonight by 5, 113-108. Big night tonight for that guy. We'll explain next. There's your final score tonight as the Rockets beat the Magic, sweep the season series, win it tonight 113-108. A great way to start a 3-game road trip out east for the Houston Rockets. They'll head to Miami after this one and then wrap it up in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Let's get to our Kia player profile tonight in the Kia Center in Orlando. Kevin Durant. What a huge game for him. It's a big-time win whenever KD goes for 40 and we save him for the second segment. It's just that kind of night tonight. Kevin Durant, 10 for 10 from the free throw line. Murph, what I loved about this was the three wasn't going down for him tonight. So what did he do? He moved to middle distance.
But, we talk so much about his last game being the assist man, but he knew tonight he had to be, the ace in the hole. He had to bring his A shooting game tonight, and this is what he did. So he just simply read what the game demanded and took it from there. And he took what the defense gave him. You're right. He did not start off shooting that 3-point well, but I talked about everybody having to get something out of possessions now. We had to either get 2 points, a point, something to get back in the game. And so he took his game inside, where I made a living, middle distance shooting. The rest was history.
And he did it when the Rockets needed it the most. Had 26 in the second half, 12 in the third, 14 in the fourth. And talked about the history, becomes the second fastest player to reach 32,000 career points. Needed 34, got 40 tonight. And only Michael Jordan has reached the 32,000 career point plateau faster than Kevin Durant. 1 game faster than LeBron James. And tonight, the Rockets win it thanks to Kevin Durant and country. By the way, 87 points back right now, Michael Jordan. So he could do that very, very easily on this road trip.
Oh, absolutely. But, the one thing that we must make note of is the fact that for most of the game, it looked like the Rockets were a step behind. but they refuse to quit as a unit. And when people come off the bench as a reserve and play the way they do, talking about Sheppard right now, it's all about your mental readiness. It's all about coming in ready to do your job. There's no accident in being good. You've got to be ready to be good.
I thought Josh Okogie was big, too, in that third quarter.
Good point. He came in.
It wasn't about numbers. It was about the spark that he lit.
He hit those 2 big threes when the Rockets Mountaineer come back, and then play some good, solid defense.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I said 87 points back of he's 287 back of Michael Jordan. Tonight, though, the Rockets shoot 58% in the second half. They go 25 for 43. Remember, they were outscored by Orlando in the first half by 21 points from beyond the arc.
Correct. But it's amazing what defense can do for cutting somebody's shooting percentage down when you go out and take what they were doing well away. Now, Baines had a great game. I'll give that to him. But going down the stretch, they took away, his effectiveness, where he was scoring in bunches at one time, and they stopped that, defensively.
All right, Rockets win it tonight. What a great win it was. And I know the guys who called this one had a lot of fun, too, Craig Ackerman and Ryan Hollins, guys.
And poof, just like that. Some magic tonight for the Rockets, guys. We appreciate that. The Rockets were getting outworked, outplayed, out-physicaled. I don't know if that's a real word or not. Maybe some frame-mogging being done to them, and then they kind of flipped the script and frame-mogged the Magic. What a comeback. They were down 19. They hit Orlando with a 21-0 run, 24-4 to end the third, and Reed Sheppard was all over that run.
You're watching a group that's adjusting to the way they need to win ball games. With Fred VanVleet, it was low turnover, high defense. With Steven Adams, it was physicality, it was defense. Now with Reed Sheppard and Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun, it's spacing and offensive execution and ball pressure. Houston's finding ways to get the job done. And again, they woke up here in the second half. And again, hats up to the Magic. They're tough. They were able to guard Houston for most of the game without having to help, without having to double team. I don't know. Maybe they did it a handful of times in that ball game. But once the help was there, Reed Sheppard knocked down major shots. And again, for a team that struggled, you brought up that Knicks game. Houston shoots 80% from the free throw line, and they were electric in the second half. They won the third and fourth quarter, and that is big and something you got to do on the road.
Rockets limited the offensive rebounding opportunities for the Magic in the second half. The Rockets limited their turnovers in the second half. They had 10 in the first half, just 3 in the second half. Again, some difference makers there. The Rockets only made 1 3 in the first half, made 10 threes in the second half. Reed Sheppard had 17 of his 20 in the second half. Kevin Durant, 26 of his 40. The Rockets kind of started to get going there in the third, and it snowballed. And then also we got to give the Rockets the credit for the way they closed the game as well. There's been a lot of critique with this team, with the way they kind of closed some games out. They outscored Orlando 16-9 to finish the game. Sengun had a couple of big buckets. Reed, of course, with the ice, a couple of big threes again. This was a really quality win against an Orlando team that came in super confident off an awesome West Coast road trip coming out of the All-Star break.
And they've been playing well.
Yeah, they'd won 6 of 8 coming in.
Let's not gloss over 32,000 points. Hats off to Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Here's the big thing for Kevin Durant. The time you don't double team him, he goes and gets 40. We talk about superstars. We talk about Hall of Famers. The second he's not double-teamed, he drops 40 on the Magic. So hats off to him. And there was a moment, and hats off to the Magic, they needed every bit of his 40 points tonight. Houston was struggling to score. He went one-on-one, hit one of the toughest shots on this right wing right over here over Carter. And again, Magic have to call a timeout. He got into his spots. He was electric here tonight. And again, for Kevin Durant, those stars, when you need them, when they're on the road, when those moments are tough, we literally saw Kevin talking his way through those moments, and he was great.
When they were down 19, he was like, you know what, I got to do this myself. And he started to do it, and then once he got going, the Magic had to pay some extra attention, and then all of a sudden, Reed Sheppard was able to free himself up. Those 2 big corner threes were the kind of the beginning of that big run for the Rockets in the third quarter. This is a really good win, again, coming off the heels of somewhere the Rockets have let them slip through their fingertips. This was... the Magic have been pretty good here at home this season, and to be down in the manner that they were down at, how they were down by 19 to come back from this is one of their better wins of the season.
It ain't bad being Clint Capella.
It ain't bad being Clint Capella either. Clint had some good minutes tonight. Josh Okogie stepping into the rotation the second half. He was terrific. But the show tonight sponsored by Kevin Durant and Reed Sheppard. Rockets will go for another in Miami on Saturday. Of course, we'll talk to you then as we go back to you, Kevin and Calvin.
Hey, Clint Capella, he shot 100% from the floor tonight. 1 for 1 and made both his free throws.
Yes.
Well. Ain't bad.
Now, what about the 4 blocks?
There you go. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Let's talk.
Let's
talk.
Sports and Outdoors.